After you've created your sub-procedures and you see that they work great, you can actually use those sub-procedures within other procedures in your VBA. It's kind of like nesting that code in with other code. And you don't need to copy the whole procedure and paste it in. You basically just type the name of the procedure. And this is what's referred to as calling a sub-procedure. So for example, I am going to create a sub-procedure called calling a sub. And I'll create a message box with a quick message in it. Now I'll create another sub-procedure and I'll call that one get message. And technically all I would have to do at this point is inside of the second sub-procedure is type in the name of the first sub-procedure. So right now I'm in the second sub-procedure get message, and when I go to run this, you see that it actually executes the code from the first sub-procedure. I'll close this and head on back to my Visual Basic. And again, technically all I had to do was write the name of that other procedure, but a lot of times what you may see is the keyword of call right before any sub-procedure that's being called. And this is especially good practice when you're working with multiple people, when you're sharing code, and even for yourself when you're just getting started, to have the word call in front of the sub-procedure name. That way you know exactly what's going on here. So you've got the keyword of call, which is totally optional, and then the name of the sub-procedure. Alright, so why would you want to do this? You might be asking yourself. Well, most times when I'm writing my code, and I need a lot of code, I mean just scores and scores of lines of code, I don't write everything in one single sub-procedure. I break it out into different sections. Maybe I have a sub-procedure for formatting, and then I have another sub-procedure for calculations, and I have another sub-procedure for printing, or for emailing, exporting, whatever it is. Instead of writing those 3, 4, and 5 different aspects of the code all under one sub-procedure, I break it out into 3, 4, or 5 sub-procedures. Then I create kind of like a master sub-procedure. I go in and I create a sub, maybe it's called generate report, and then in that sub-procedure I just go ahead and list all the other sub-procedures, in order mind you. So if I need to do calculations first and then do formatting, I'll type in call calculate, then on the next line call formatting, then on the next line call printing. You want to make sure you have them in the proper order. And this way, if anything changes, like say I'm changing one of the calculations, I don't have to go to that huge sub-procedure and have to scroll and look and try to find where those calculations are. I can just go to the smaller calculation sub-procedures and look for the change there. When I make the change there, obviously, it's going to update my master sub-procedure. So calling a sub-procedure, it's great when you have your code in one procedure and you want to use it inside of another.